Hi, welcome to this episode of the Aortic Kitchen. I am the Aortic Chef, Rob Seltzer.
I'm Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian, and we're talking about cherries.
It's National Cherry Month. Wow, which is really kind of funny because this isn't cherry season yet, but getting ready for it. I think it has to do with George Washington, the cherry tree, and all that stuff. But, cherries are great. They're a fabulous fruit, do a lot of things. And of course, we're going to do the non traditional things with cherries. I mean, life's a bowl of cherries. We all know about that. But there's other things you can do with cherries besides just, fruit and dessert and pies and muffins and things like
We
that.
are going to make a dessert, though.
So we are making dessert, yes, but a
Yeah.
little bit different one. So we're going to utilize some different cherries as well. Since it's not cherry season, we're going to utilize some nice dried cherries and some frozen cherries, which is a great way to get all that cherry flavor when it's not in season. And you don't have to fly them in from 5,000 miles away either, which also isn't a good thing. So
Well, they are
we're
being
going to make three things tonight for you. We're going to make a braised chicken in a cherry onion jam. We're going to have a plum cherry soup, which is a cold soup. And Mindy's going to make a cherry almond biscotti. So three great things, the whole meal deal, and we'll have a lot of fun. And we're going to eat good afterwards. That much I'll tell you. It's going to be good. So Mindy's going to start the night with her biscotti, that traditional Italian cookie that is so good, so crunchy, and hopefully you have good teeth when you eat them.
I happen to find a recipe that has no oil in it, and it is a wonderful, wonderful mix. So first thing we're going to start out with is a cup of flour. I pack it very hard for the cookies instead of scraping it like you normally do. I'm going to add baking soda, and sugar. You mix these three dry ingredients first.
There you go. And notice that she has the paddle on the mixer, not the whisk and not the hook, but the paddle, which we typically use for cookies.
Okay. Give me that bowl back. Oh, I can use this one.
Right here.
Okay.
Oh, that's bad form.
What?
Cracking eggs into the.
I'm not. I'm taking the sugar off.
Oh, okay. There you go. You guys know, never. It's a bad habit to have to crack your eggs directly into your mixing bowl because you get a piece of shell in there or something happens.
It is calcium, though.
Yes, but they don't crunch too well. So we try not to. Always break them first into another bowl. Inspect the egg. Make sure it's okay. Which
I left a couple things up. I have almonds and cherries. And to make it a little easier, I'm going to chop them slightly. This recipe is one of the easiest recipes I make. And they're delicious.
Now, when I put the recipe up online, you'll see that the cherries and the almonds are not essential ingredients. It's just the flour, the sugar, the baking soda, the egg. Those are the essential ingredients. So you can change it around. You can use dried or even probably fresh fruit works real well.
No.
Does not. You need dried.
Dry
So
fruit.
dried blueberries, dried strawberries.
Coconut.
Coconut flake, chocolate chips, other types of nuts. And you can mix them and match them. I mean, we're doing cherry almond because that is that's a natural go together, cherries and almonds. And but we have one recipe here that's it's orange and chocolate chips with orange zest and coconut. Very, very good.
I used a peeler to take the zest off the orange because I like the flavor of a little bit larger orange so it permeates throughout the cookie. If you use a grater, it makes the chunks too small.
So what you really did was you peeled the orange earlier and then gave me the peels and said, here, slice these really thin for me.
What I
and
did
chop it.
today is I used my zester
Right.
for fruit, for vegetables, and then chopped it.
Yeah, it's a cute little tool that she has. It looks like a vegetable peeler, but it's got, it's multi-knife, so it looks like a julienne. So it's got little squares, so it just, the peel strips. So in goes the zest
egg,
and the egg,
zest, don't turn it on yet.
right?
I like adding a little almond flavor because we love the flavor of almond. I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of almond
Extract.
I may have just it.
Yeah.
I did.
Wow, that bottle's how old?
A lot.
Still
Very
had-
old.
still had
No, 09 it expired. It never expires.
Yeah,
It
already
just evaporates.
surprised it still had a Best Buy. Most of these things still have a grocery store price tag on them.
I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla.
There's
And if
no.
you use real vanilla,
Oh, go ahead.
it if you accidentally pour too much in, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's very hard to overdo vanilla.
If it's pure vanilla. You're going to mix it until it makes a soft dough. It takes a few minutes. It looks dry on the outside, but it eventually mixes in. You can put a teaspoon of a liqueur in it if you like. If you want to put almond liqueur, amaretto, some orange Cointreau. I think I might need a little bit of water. I know I will get that out in a minute.
There you go.
I'll wait and see if I need it.
Okay. It's there for you if it needs it.
I made one batch and I felt it was a little too wet. And then sometimes it'll be a little too dry. And you just make it so it looks like a nice soft dough. And I'm going to dribble literally just a couple drops of water. And you don't whip it. You just put it at slow speed, stir speed if you have a mixer. You can mix it by hand. Takes a lot longer. And we're almost there. I put a tablespoon of water instead of the liqueur.
Almost there?
Gonna check it.
Okay, because otherwise I'll do something else.
It feels doughy to me. You can start something while I'm trying to see if I got the right texture.
Yep.
No.
Okay. All right. So just for time, plum cherry soup. This is something that my mother used to make, and I mean, it's a cold fruit soup. Fruit soups are so simple to make, really, really simple. This only has really 3 ingredients: plum, sugar if you want it, and then a little bit of water, and the garnish at the end. We normally serve it with yogurt or sour cream. That's it. Really simple. It's more, I think it's Norwegian or a Scandinavian soup. But plums, we decided to do this. Really, we changed the menu today because when we went shopping, we saw they had plums in the store. Now, they're not really ripe, which is fine for making soup, right? This one's a little soft. This one's pretty hard. But making a soup, we got to cook them. So hard fruit is okay. So first, what you have to do with this is you have to remove the stone. the pit in the middle. Now, many of you, were taught, to cut it right around the middle here, start at the top with where the stem is, go around and give it that twist. And how many people ever twist a plum or a peach or a nectarine, and all it does is all the juice comes out, it gets all over your hands, and it squishes, and then you don't get any pit out. So there's the other way to do it, is to do it around the equator, and just make a cut all the way to the pit, and just turn the plum or the piece of fruit around. And now give it a twist, and look at that. Comes right apart. And then for the pit, you can either try to wiggle it out. I just make another cut because I got to cut the fruit up anyways. So I just cut it in half again the other way now. Give it a twist. And boom, there we go.
And I'm ready.
Plums for plum soup. 1 second, Mindy.
Mm-hmm.
So I started it earlier because it takes a little while. Cut up all my plums, and you put them in a pot, a little bit of water, and just let them come to a boil, then turn it down to a simmer and let them cook until they're soft. So it almost looks like a jam. And then we're going to puree it. So I'll add these little pieces to it or not. And we'll go from there. All right. So I got some plum to eat, I guess. You need the knife?
I do not need a knife
Okay.
anymore.
There you go, Mindy.
So what we're going to do is put a little flour on this cutting board. And you have to use your judgment because you don't want to get the mix too dry. The other thing I'm going to do, since I have the flour, is I have my sheet pan that I'm going to put it on. I'm going to spray it with oil with dirty hands. Not dirty hands. You're going to spray it with oil. We have this wonderful mister that works great. I'm going to spread the oil around a little bit so it's a little even on the paper. And then I'm going to take a little bit of flour and sprinkle it with flour, because that's what the recipe says to do. If you notice, there's no oil in this recipe. Many recipes that I was reading for biscotti have a cup of oil to 2 cups of flour. This one, sometimes they make it with just egg whites. So if it calls for 2 eggs, you'd use 4 egg whites. If it calls for 1 egg, you'd use 2 egg whites. So if you look at the dough, it's forming a nice dough. Like when you make cookies or anything else. Because guess what? It is a cookie. Thank you. And then you just take it and you form it into a 2-inch log, around. I always tuck the ends in a little bit. Now this requires double baking. So the first one is 30 minutes, 30 or 40, depending on how it's cooking. And the second one, you let it cool, and we're going to slice it. We've done the camera thing, so you will see it. And you see it's a nice log.
The magic of TV.
Or video, whatever you want to call it. And I try to make it, you can, if you use a double batch, you can make it in a small loaf pan, and you'll get a little more height out of the cookie. And I think it's ready. I'll let you check. I got to wash my hands for a minute. You want the dough sort of tacky. You do not want it too dry.
Because we still got to cut it. Let it,
You're
slice it.
Slice it.
How do you think they get those biscotti shapes and so toasty? It's like toasting bread or making a, the toast, the Italian toast, to put your sun-dried tomatoes on and your cheese and such.
Excuse me, sir?
Yes, that's ready. Definitely ready.
Looks perfect.
Tray's hot.
Tray's hot. We're going to let it cool. I'm going to put it on my baking rack. And I'm going to let it cool for 5 minutes. Okay.
We're going to hold on to the sheet pan.
I'm going to put the sheet pan in the oven for now.
Okay.
And set my timer for 5 minutes.
Here.
Perfect. And we're going to let that. Rob's going to continue with what he's making.
I am.
You can.
Oh, okay. Well, since I talked about the plums, let's go ahead and do the plum soup. So, as I said, I had 1.5 pounds of plums, and I cut them up. So I really just basically quartered or eighth them. All right. And put them in the pan, put a 1/2 cup of water in there, and then medium high heat, brought it up to a boil, turned it way down so it just simmered. It took about 20 minutes, depending on how firm the fruit is. Now, again, you can do this with plums, with peaches, with nectarines, all three, any stone fruit you want. You can throw some strawberries in, okay, things of that nature to make the soup. Now, this particular one, we puree, okay? So all of this, these plums, which should be, oh, nice and soft, okay, real soft. I'm going to put them into the bowl of my handy dandy blender. Now you can use the food processor for this, or you can use a regular blender. I got this is our fancy one.
Because we broke the other one.
Yes, I know. I had the other one, the less expensive one with the glass bottle, instead of plastic, and it fell over in the sink and broke into 2 pieces. So I now have 1 blender instead of 2. That was basically like our cocktail blender, but I did use it for cooking. So, all right, we'll leave this there for a second. Put this back. What did I forget to do? Oh, no, leave me. I forgot to put the lid on, and Mindy didn't want to paint the cabinets yet.
I don't want to paint the cabinet.
Okay. All right, here we go. Basically, we're going to go to smoothie. And here we are, smoothie. Now, very important when you do this soup, plum soup especially, leave the skin on. Do not peel the plums. This is where the color comes from. You want that nice dark color. So this is going to go back into the pot. I mean, I could just go right to the refrigerator now if I wanted to, honestly. But I want to put the cherries in and let those, well, actually, these cherries are already cooked. So I really don't need to do that. But all right, we got the idea. Okay, you will, please.
Are you allowed to taste?
Yeah, you can taste.
Does not need
I
sugar.
did not put any sugar in. The recipe will say optional sugar. You've got to taste it. Taste one of the fruit, and if it's not real sweet, put a little bit of sugar in, or not, or whatever sweetener you want. You want to use a little honey, you want to use some maple syrup, agave, any of the things that you like. Okay, here's my cherries. Life is just a bowl of cherries. So we've got some of these that we would put in there. Oh, and I need, you know what? I don't have quite enough, but it's okay.
I can get you more.
That's the whole bag. So these will go into the soup. Okay, as you get the idea. All right. Phil, I usually use, it's really better with this. Optimal is fresh cherries, okay? But chill this down, put it in the fridge, get it nice and cold, and we'll serve it in a bowl with some yogurt. I'll put some more cherry on it.
Will it fit in this bowl there?
Oh, wait, I have plenty of cherries. Can I have those back? Wait, because I have the other ones for the other dish. Yes. How silly of me. And I got some cherry juice here too, which I don't really
put it in.
I will say I'll put some in. I don't want to thin the soup out too much, but here we go. Just put it all in. There we go. All done. I'm confused. Some days, you guys know how it is. Some days our brain gets a little addled. Okay. So look at that beautiful color. Life is just a bowl of cherries, and I am nothing but a pit. Ba-da-dum. That's what my dad used to sing all the time. Whenever we had cherries, that was one of his dad jokes. I am nothing but a pit. I don't think the song really went that way.
Okay, so I'm going to let you.
Move this back. We're
And
done.
here's a cup if you want to put it in the freezer. Oh, you want to put it in the freezer?
Well, we could.
Chill it.
Okay, you're gonna
I am going to.
going back to your other job.
The other job. Is it still dry? Yes, it is. So what we're going to do, as you see, we have the beautiful biscotti. It's cooked on both sides, but it's soft. And biscotti is supposed to be crunchy. So you can cut it anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. I like it smaller. I get to eat more. And you cut it on a diagonal. So that's how you get that nice wide cut.
Long. You get a nice long biscotti out of it.
And you should get about 15 slices. I don't know, dear. This one may be better than the other one.
Okay.
So there's a chef cut. We get to eat those. My pan is in the oven. Need my pot holder.
I don't know what you did with it.
Behind you. Thank you. I'm going to take the pan out of the oven. I usually leave it on the counter, but space is limited to here. Then you're going to take the cookies and you're going to lay them on their sides and you're going to toast them for about 10 minutes. And if it's not crispy enough, you toast them a little more. And if you see they're all nice and yellowish, we're going to make it look like a piece of toast.
How long do they have to stay in there to get toasty?
I check them in about 10 minutes. Sometimes I'll flip them over if I don't think they're crispy enough. And they probably are not going to get crispy because there's another pan in the oven.
Right. But the bake time on the raw loaf, about 30 to 40 minutes.
30 to 40, but always check it at 30 because sometimes, depending on how much flour you in, it can cook faster than you think.
So the point here that I'm making is that you can make phenomenal, delicious biscotti in less than an hour.
The other thing, if you make the full recipe, once you roll it, you make 2 logs, you can wrap the other log up and put it in the refrigerator or the freezer, and then just pull it out a few hours before you want to cook it, and you don't have to make another mess. And then you get another 15 biscotti.
Or if you're like me, you bake them both. That's just more biscotti to eat rather than put away. Or you share them with your friends, right?
You can take, one of the things that you can do with biscotti is melt some chocolate chips, dip the end in chocolate. I've never tried it, but you know where you can, in the stores, they have the biscotti thins. You can cut this very thin and make the little thin crackers that you see that they put 2 in a package.
Okay, good.
How long is this thing in there? The other pan?
That, I don't know, honey.
I don't know either.
We'll check it. Okay.
It's not.
Is it time for me?
Yes. Would you like to eat the?
No, thank you.
raw?
Take your cutting board.
I will. Then we'll take my knife.
Mm-hmm.
And
Clean your station, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, chef.
There you go. That's the
No,
answer.
no, no.
That's the answer I'm looking for. Okay, out comes the stove. Time for the hot cooking. Okay. I love my little butane stoves. Okay, we're going to preheat that pan a little bit. So this is chicken. Now, like I mentioned, I like to do it with chicken thighs, skin on, because then you can brown them really nice, and then you can braise them for a while, and they get more of this liquid flavor from the sauce. But this will work real well too. So I'm using chicken tenders that we happen to have. Didn't go out and buy anything new. So again, any recipe that I post, all these things, a recipe is just a guide. Okay, it's not a map where you got to have to go directly from A to B to C. It's a guide. So if you don't like thighs or that, you can use chicken breast or chicken breast tenders or the other way around. Or you could substitute some turkey tenderloins. You can. This would be really good with pork if you eat pork. A pork tenderloin or some slices and pound them up a little bit. Cooked with this would be absolutely fabulous. And if you don't want cherries, you use another fruit or not use a fruit at all.
You could do strawberries.
Everything like the biscotti, make it the way that you like it. Just the same way I tell people when I was in the wine business, drink what you like. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, that wine's no good or this, or why are you drinking such a sweet wine with dinner? Because that's what I like. Okay. So that's what you drink. So same thing. If you don't like an ingredient in a recipe, leave it out. Okay.
As the dietitian says, I prefer the skinless, little less fat.
Right. So I have taken my chicken tenders. We'll put a little bit of oil in there. Not too much. And we're going to sear them as the first step, because normally this would be done with the breast, the thighs. See if my pan is hot enough yet. Give me a second, just give it a little touch. Oh, there's that little sizzle. That's what I want. We're just going to brown these, hopefully, on both sides, so that I'm going to finish them in the sauce. We want to get some color, and I want to get some of that chicken soup, the proteins that stick to the pan. Oh, I should have pulled that baby off. That's all right. If you want to be really good with chicken tenders, you see this. You can see that there's that little tendon that's in the tenderloin. Take something, tweezer, a pliers, and pull them out. It really makes a difference. I did not stop to do that today. Would have been nice, but I did not. So I will deal with it. So I'm going to use the same bowl. Everyone's going to go, you're using the bowl that has the raw chicken in it. Yeah, but I'm going to put the chicken back in and cook it again. So it's really not going to be a problem. Okay. Turn that down just a smidge. Okay. I can see these are already starting to turn white on the bottom. Now, how do I know when it's time to turn them? Because if I try to do it really quick, they would stick. Let's see. This is the first one. So they're still stuck to the pan. Okay. Chef trick. Once you have the Maillard reaction, which is where the protein reaches a certain stage, they should release on their own. Okay. And you don't want to keep turning and turning and turning and turning your food because it never cooks. Okay. We'll get to that point where, see, now it comes up nice and easy. And I got some color. I don't remember which direction I went, but that's all right. I seasoned this with some black pepper, and I did put some, a little bit of paprika on there to make sure I get some color. Now, you could grill this as well, but you won't get that, the chicken flavor in the pan for the sauce, but that's okay, because we use some stock anyway. One's not quite, that's a cold spot in the pan. There we go. So you could throw these on the grill and grill them and just make the sauce separate. Okay. Now the sauce is made up with caramelized onion and shallot, a little bit of garlic. You can leave the garlic out for those of you that don't use garlic. And then we deglaze with some we put the cherries in and the cherry juice with some balsamic vinegar to deglaze the pan. And then we let it some stock, and we'll put the chicken back in and let it simmer for a few minutes until it's done. Okay. Really not, this is a very simple, using the tenderloins and stuff, you spend more time cooking the onions than you do the whole dish. And that's why I did the onions earlier today. So Have to remember to turn
Turn
that
that
off.
off.
It's okay. It doesn't bother a thing. So,
I don't think I can reach it.
yeah, momentary distraction there.
I might be able to touch it.
It doesn't matter. I don't think anybody hears that, do they, Josh? You hear it? Do you hear anything in the background like an alarm? I didn't think so.
Okay, and we're good. But it's annoying.
Yeah. You guys know this is Aortic. This is the Aortic Hope channel, and most of us are Aortic Hope survivors. That's my medication alarm going off. I forgot to turn it off, so that's what's distracting us. But don't mess up the camera, please. Okay? We've played this game before.
I can touch it. It
Okay.
stopped.
They're coming out. Well, it'll turn back on
in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm going to adjust that one of these days. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Chicken. Nice and done. See all that nice stuff in the pan? That's good stuff. That is called flavor. Okay, here are my onions. So I did start them earlier today.
I'm going to need you to step aside for a minute so I can flip the cookies.
They're not quite caramelized enough, so we're going to cook those a little bit more. They're going to start to deglaze the pan. See how the stuff on the bottom is already lifting from the moisture? That's what deglazing is, adding moisture to a pan that has all the caramelized proteins on the bottom, and the liquid deglazes or removes it and liquefies it. And in the meantime, it's going to take that color too, and that's going to help brown all this up. Some of this is not done yet. We'll get there. We'll finish. So almost there. I'm fine. I don't know about you.
I don't want to burn you.
Nah, it's all right.
Yeah, you were burned once. It scared me to death.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Very first chef position, pre-opening, getting ready. I was cooking, I think, a 10-pound or 20, a lot of spaghetti. It was in a 10-gallon stock pot. And it was done. I took it to the stove, from the stove to the sink, and I had a colander in the sink. Then I went and dumped the spaghetti out of the pot, and it hit the backside of the colander, so it went like that. And then I got 10 gallons of boiling hot spaghetti from just below my waist down to my knees, the critical areas of my body. Second-degree burns.
Luckily, he had a triple fold apron on the essentials.
Yes, I had an apron over my important things. But I ended up sat down, then I went upstairs. Luckily, this restaurant had a shower, and I went upstairs and got in a cold shower with my clothes on. Shallots and garlic. We do that for 3 minutes. And Mindy, do you need to do anything else in the meantime?
No.
Okay. So let these cook. Still there? Okay. We need a couple more minutes. And now, honestly, I think it leaves a little bit more oil. Now that I put all those extra, I'm gonna use my handy dandy sprayer. That way I control. Sometimes I think I put more in, but
Not really.
I just get it till it's all nice and shiny. That is my pure olive oil, not my extra virgin. I'm using that for cooking. I will season my food with my extra virgin later if I wish. But I still try not to use extra virgin, especially for saute.
Well,
I mean, if I'm doing lower heat cooking, it's not a problem.
There was a bottle of olive oil at the store today that it says for more flavor, extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
And it was to add at the end of your meal to give it a oomph.
Right. Well,
But it wasn't regular olive. It was just regular extra virgin olive oil.
Right.
They just labeled it.
Well, yeah, because that's really, and I've told you folks that before. Good quality extra virgin olive oils are really more like a finishing and a seasoning. So don't start your sauce with the extra virgin olive oil. Let's say you're making a spaghetti sauce or a marinara sauce. So you don't saute the onions and such in the extra virgin olive oil. Some chefs will tell you to do that. I say no. And use the pure or the one blended olive oil. And then when the sauce is done, you can pour some extra virgin in it at the finish. Okay. Okay, these are getting soft. About there. Pan's getting really nice and crispy. Definitely needs the deglaze.
Move your stuff over
Oh, gee, thanks.
there. And can you step to the left again?
Okay, if I burn my dish, it's Mindy's fault. So these are the dried cherries. Someone earlier today, Molly, was asking what happens when I soak it. She asked me a little more about soaking the fresh cherries. But these are the dried cherries. Now they look just like regular cherries, okay? So these are going in. I soaked the dried cherries. I just covered them. I had a cup of them. I probably put a half a cup of water on top. Now, pan's going to deglaze. That go. Put in my balsamic.
He's going to stay for that side for a minute.
Yes, I'm fine. Now, I may not use all of this. Start with half. See what we got here. Need to scrape and get that stuff up off the bottom. Nice to use stainless steel pans because you can scrape. Can't do this with a Teflon pan. And you know what? With Teflon pans, you don't get the soup. You don't get that nice buildup of the flavors, the protein on them that turns into the good flavor for your sauce. So, okay, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. This is really getting out of hand. There we go. Work. Do a little flippy flip. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put my chicken back in.
Start the green beans, dear.
Yes, you may.
Along.
What the package says. Was it 5 minutes?
I don't know.
They're not in there. They're in the freezer still in the bag, like they're supposed to be. Turn that way. Get this last one in here. There we go.
Okay, I see lots of cheese.
It's up top, honey. It's up top. It's up top.
Thank you.
Ready?
Let's see. I'm gonna do 5.
Okay. We're just gonna steam some green beans. Backside up. There you go.
Side up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rob is notorious with all these. Just go do what you.
Thank you.
He's notorious for cutting the bags open on the steaming bags. He doesn't, because we rarely use frozen
I'm not used to
vegetables.
cooking the bag stuff, and I know they're all like that. Now this is stock, so I've got enough stock. So braising, when you do a braise, you don't submerge the food in the cooking liquid. Really, it's just halfway up the sides or so, just enough moisture. And these are chicken tenders. We don't need to boil them anyways. Okay. I want them to get some of that good flavor, just a little bit more. Okay. And then I'll let it cook down when we're done because we want it to be a little thicker. And, you can thicken sauces. There's ways we can use a roux, fat and flour, which is really not the best thing for us. We can use other starches like cornstarch, potato starch. You can even use breadcrumbs. What's bread made up of? Flour and water. So use breadcrumbs. One of the other ones that's used in other countries and used to be an old thickening agent was blood. What happens when you heat blood? It coagulates, right? And
you could also use vegetables.
Right. So you can puree, or excuse me while I bend over here. My favorite is the cover it, help it cook quicker. Reduction. Okay, reduction is just letting it cook until you cook off more water, and it will naturally thicken. Okay, especially with the things in here with the cherry and the balsamic. There's sugars in there. They're going to gelatinize, and as they thicken, so you'll get a nice sauce just by reduction. I'm going to do this for a couple of minutes. Let that chicken finish cooking, and we'll be ready to plate up. We're almost there. In fact, Mindy, the background, would you like to plate up the soup, maybe? You just do it over here, anywhere. Okay. Freezer. Yogurt's in the refrigerator. Put anywhere you wish.
I'm good here.
Okay. I give you. You like the honey vanilla or the plain?
The honey vanilla.
Okay. Okay. How are we doing here? Oh, that's looking good. I think my chicken is pretty well done. Now, how would I want to check it? No, there's no blood. I see no pink. I want to be really, really, really sure. What am I going to do, guys? I'm going to get my handy dandy.
It's already.
Oh, look at this. She's like my scrub nurse. Take my handy dandy thermometer. Stick her in there. Nope, not yet. Only 130 degrees. You know, I thought it was done. We get 140. We got another 25 to go. So you see, it's a good idea. You bring out that thermometer. This looked like it was done, but it wasn't. So we're going to. Can I have the lid back?
You may.
So we need another 5 minutes. We'll be ready to go.
Yum.
So
I need to pull the cookies out.
yes, you may pull your cookies out. Oh, look at those babies. Throw those under the camera. What? Be nice and toasty.
Toasted. I flip them. Most recipes don't say to flip them, but I like it crunchy on both
Here, I want to
sides.
try something. Can I? May I take
Sure.
a couple of them? You hear that? Okay, too bad. I tried.
Here, I'll give you the full ones.
They do the scrapey thing to. Here. Just where's your microphone? There. Hear that? Say yes. Oh, so,
He actually just wanted to look on my shirt.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now you're gonna put those on the rack to cool.
I am.
And once they're cool, Ethan, your other ones are still baking, right?
Yes, they are. Should be almost ready to take out.
Because this is no longer on.
Yeah, I probably hit it.
I know you did. Okay. And that's almost there. I need a bowl for the beans. Put them in two.
Here's the black one. One that's the black white.
These?
Yep.
The whole bag?
Yep.
Okay, whatever you say.
Hot. Pick up here.
Here you go. Would you like scissors? There. Okay, I think I'm doing good here because I'm boiling away now. Give it one more pokey poke. Yep, just about there. Up 170, 170, 79, 80, 170. Okay, they are done. We are ready. Okay, so turn that off. Let's for a minute while I do the plating up. We'll see if I can do that right here. Okay. Oh, we're running out of table space here. Keep going. I know.
So it'll be very interesting when we move because we have a whole different kitchen setup, even different from what we originally planned.
Yeah, we changed our apartment. So, okay. Dinner plate.
Right behind you.
Behind you.
No, I just want to make sure I don't overcook those.
Okay. Typically, this would go with a lovely yellow rice. I made a yellow barley pilaf because we like barley. It's better for us. Got more fiber than rice.
And a lower glycemic index.
Oh, lower glycemic index. What Mindy says. Okay. Oop. Went too far. There we go. Oh, we're going to fill our little mold. I'm going to try to do it fancy tonight. We'll see if it holds together.
It should.
Oh, I know. I'm just building the suspense, Mindy.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
I'm screenwriting here.
Got it.
Okay. Okay, let that sit. Take our few little errant barleys that didn't want to go to the party. Outsiders, outliers. Okay. That to the side. Got some lovely steamed green beans that we can do. Okay. Pretty good. You can always have seconds. But I love my green beans. I love my veggies any way you do it. Okay. Okay. Oop, wait. We got the most important step. How could you let me do that?
Because I'm not watching you.
There we
I'm
go.
behind you.
Didn't want to serve it with the metal ring. That wouldn't taste too good. Sometimes. Okay. And we'll do a nice one here. Okay. Now this is enough for really for 4. It's only a pound altogether. Okay. So there we go. And we need to have some of that lovely cherry sauce all over. It'll be a little thicker, but just for sake of time, we'll just leave it as is. Okay. Little green for the top. There we go. Okay. So there is our
Entree.
entree. There's our braised chicken with cherry onion jam, uh, barley risotto, and green beans. They steamed green beans. Absolutely lovely. And I'll also put it together like this. See if we can. What went in? No.
Yep.
There we go. And our plum cherry soup with fresh biscotti, cherry and almond biscotti, and plum cherry soup with actually, this is a Greek honey vanilla yogurt rather than plain. My mother always served it with sour cream. That's, what we had then when the
You
yogurt
also
wasn't so
put
big.
sugar in the soup.
Yes, well, when it needed it, yes. For back then, she probably used liquid sucralose, okay, sugar subs. But that's it, folks. There is our show for the evening. And I appreciate everyone calling. Let's do a roll call, Joe. Josh, boy, my brain tonight.
All right, let's say hi to Tom and Brenny and Velda. And Brenny says, looks fantastic.
Thank you, John. Okay. No, there were no questions tonight.
Except for
No,
That's
sir.
right on top of the. No, sir. It's already out there, honey. Thank you very much.
just half.
But okay, well then, if that's the case, let me tell you a little bit about the show and what's going on. So obviously, this is the Aortic Hope live channel. It's the Aortic Kitchen. Aortic Hope is a 501c3 organization promoting knowledge and support for survivors, caregivers, and loved ones of people that have aortic disease, and also for helping physicians and medical professionals understand more about aortic disease, as is often overlooked. In order to do that, we do need funds. We are a nonprofit. We're all volunteers. So anything that you might like to contribute, if you go to aortichope.org, that would be great. And if you can afford $1, 10, whatever you can give, we really appreciate it. It helps our organization send our message and help others with what we do. The Aortic Kitchen is on twice a month, first and third Tuesday of every month. So the third Thursday of this month, I did say Thursday, first and third Thursday. So in 2 weeks from now, we will have another show, and we will be going to Mexico because I think it's National Tortilla Day. So we will try to do something from Mexico, south of the border for everybody. We will be taking off March. As many has mentioned, we are moving. We're leaving sunny Florida for the lovely climate in the northern regions of the United States.
All because I love him.
Yeah. And so while we move, we can't really do the show. So
Because we don't know when our furniture is going to arrive.
We won't be there. We won't be ready until April. Okay, folks? So be sure, well, we'll talk about that next time. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and being here. I hope you guys haven't talked too much smack about me online there.
And
Keep
spread
that
the
chat.
word.
Yes.
People can
Make
watch
sure.
it on YouTube. We
It's
just
like-
had friends yesterday that were like, wow, I want to make that, because we had been somewhere and showed them, and they were all excited.
Yes, well, the oatmeal risotto is what we were showing. So hit the like button, subscribe if you wish. If you subscribe, you'll get those reminders. Put the little bell to send you a reminder when our show starts, and some of the other Aortic Hope programs on Aortic Hope Live. We truly appreciate it. So that's it for tonight. I want to thank you again multiple times for joining in, or if you're watching later, I do appreciate the fact that you are tuning in to watch our videos. Hopefully you learn something too. And you can always send me an email if you have a question or just want to comment. chefrob@aortichope.org is my address. So thank you. And this is Chef Rob, the Aortic Chef, saying good night.
This is Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian, saying good night and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.